when they witness people who have to go, who are not, they start to make some assumptions about the organization. Either that you don't pay attention, that you don't care, that their level of work doesn't matter because this other person is basically at the same level of them. They're both allowed to be part of this organization. So you're teaching your team about what is okay. Welcome to another episode of the Physician Growth Accelerator, a show where we break down your private medical practice systems into vitals, give you the tools to diagnose the root cause of what may be restricting your growth, and prescribe what to do about it. I'm your host, Ed Williamson, and I believe that everything we experience is the perfect outcome of our current systems. And the power in that belief is that if we don't like the outcome, if that outcome is a pain that we wish was not there, we can own it. We can take a step back, tweak the system, and generate something that we do want. And something that we come across a lot in practices is you have employees that are helping you do things. They are doing work. Sometimes you wonder, are they doing enough work for what you pay them? Is it really efficient? Is it effective? Some people you may feel are kind of protected. They've been with you for a long time. Some people are new and maybe they don't last long. But generally, you have this group of people, and they're all doing something. And then you get to the point where someone's got to go. And it's obvious. It's one of those things that maybe you ignore a little bit. Maybe you get feedback from other people in the organization, and the person's got to go. They are bringing down the organization. They are causing actual harm. But they still work for you. And here's what happens, is your brain starts to go, well, gosh, they do this one thing. And if we don't have them, then who's going to do that one thing? And now I'm going to put stress on someone else because now they're going to have to do this one thing. And this is the third time we've tried to hire this type of person. So I'm not confident in my ability to get someone new that's going to be better. What if I get someone new and they're worse? Is this the best that we're ever going to get? So should I just keep pushing through? And maybe they'll get better. Maybe it's just a rough time. And, our brain is always trying to help us feel comfortable. And it is lying to you. This is when we really need to be aware of our own biases and what our brain is trying to do to make us feel comfortable. Because when someone needs to go, they need to go. And your entire organization feels it. And it's one of those things, and maybe you've experienced this. Maybe something blows up and that person exits, and the entire organization takes a breath. It's almost this like, oh, finally. Or if you did something about it, a lot of people are like, what took you so long? And that's a problem. Because what happens is you have good people who believe in what you do. They believe in what they do and how they help you. And when they witness people who have to go, who are not, they start to make some assumptions about the organization. Either that you don't pay attention, that you don't care, that their level of work doesn't matter because this other person is basically at the same level of them. They're both allowed to be part of this organization. So you're teaching your team about what is okay. And that is one thing that you really need to remove that poison from your organization. And everyone agrees with that. But the conversation that typically doesn't happen is this next part. It's like, yeah, Zed, I get it. But we've tried this 3 times. Why is the next person going to be better? What are we doing? And this is a really good thing to be aware of. That maybe your process for hiring people is actually creating the challenge. You'll hear me say hiring is a very strange scenario. It's not a good setup. It's a bad equation. You want everyone to work for you. Everyone who applies wants to be offered the job. So everybody's kind of working to show the best to hope. And then we don't actually plan for success. So there's a process that we teach in hiring, and I'm not going to go through the entire thing here because it would be a little bit too intense to go through in a podcast episode. But there are ways to structure a process to help you find systematically the right people for your organization, because it's related to a couple of things. First of all, cultural fit, meaning, does this person believe what we believe? Do they believe what is important, what we believe is important? From a standard standpoint, will they actually behave in a way that fits with our organization? And I've done a lot of episodes around uncovering those things, and if you go back through the titles, you'll find multiple to help you walk through the process to understand cultural fit. It's very important. But it can't be the only thing. Just because someone fits your culture doesn't mean they get to be a part of the organization, right? They have to be able to achieve a high level of quality work in the job that you need them to achieve. So, cultural fit, that's another episode. Check them out. It's powerful. It's necessary, but that's not today. Today, I want you to think about this person. First of all, as a role in the organization. What is the role? What is the title of that role? And then what is it that role must accomplish? I don't mean a job description where it's like, here you go, lift 50 pounds and do all this. Here's the stuff you have to do. I mean, what must they achieve for you to feel like they were a great hire? What is the role required to achieve to support the success of the business? Write those things down. Bullet point as many as you possibly can. How do you define success in that role? And be mindful that tasks are not what you want to write for that bullet point. So this is a really goofy item, but for some reason it's what came to my head first. But check the mail. Okay, that's a task. That's not what is part of this list. What is part of this list is, what are they achieving? What is the outcome that matters? Okay. Now that you have that list, what I want you to do is I want you to create 3 columns: skill, knowledge, experience. And then you write down, what is the skill needed to achieve each of those specific outcomes? What is the knowledge needed to achieve each of those outcomes? And what is the experience needed for you to feel good about someone being able to achieve those things? So now look what we're creating. We're creating a little bit of a matrix where we are building a way to interview somebody from a black and white perspective to understand, do they fit within the skill, knowledge, and experience to achieve the actual outcomes that we need them to achieve in this role. The reason why this is so different is because you're doing this work in advance. And guess what? You're going to hire someone who's, at some point, they got to go. But now you can go back to this list and you can say, hey, where did we miss? What is the thing that we should have asked that we didn't? What item did we not include either in skill, knowledge, or experience, or in specific what they achieved that made it so we were unclear that this was going to be an issue coming forward with someone joining the organization? And now the tool improves itself over time. And so if you marry this with the cultural fit, and we remove this idea of just a gut feeling of like, yeah, you know what, I kind of like Billy. He was, he showed up on time, and, he dressed sharp, and he smiled and made me laugh. I think he'd be a great employee. Because that doesn't work. That is literally blindfolding, throwing a dart at a wall. And every once in a while, maybe you'll hit a bullseye, but it is not very common. Instead, what we do, we build this system. It's a true map to achieve a specific outcome that allows you to have a process so that everybody gets interviewed in the same way. And, cool added feature, multiple people can do this interview because you have pre-built the qualities and the qualifications for someone to enter your organization. It's a pretty big idea, but it's so important. The people that we bring into our businesses, they truly are the foundation for the business. And as I've mentioned before, the foundation is what allows you to build bigger. Small foundation limits your growth. Big, powerful foundation, unlimited. If you ever want help with any of these tools or want to chat with us, please feel free to reach out to the Physician Growth Accelerator team. Also, go to physiciangrowthaccelerator.com and check your vitals. It's a great little symptom score. It'll take you literally seconds for you to identify where are there likely constraints within your practice. And you may not even be aware of something that's currently holding you back. Even though it's the perfect part of your system, maybe you would like to tweak that part to get a different outcome. And with that, we'll see you next time on the Physician Growth Accelerator.